So we are going to continue on with determining a mean, except this type of mean is known as a weighted mean. You can see that right here. And a weighted mean means that some of the data values have a multiple to them because it expresses that that particular value came up that many times. So we have Mr. England is an avid golfer. The following frequency distribution is his golf scores for a random season on par 3 holes. So here's a frequency distribution. This one happens to be horizontal. We've seen and have created ones that were vertical, but this one just happens to be horizontal. It means the same thing. And you can see that he's got his scores here. He scored a 3, and he's also scored a 4, and he's also scored a 5, and so on. But here we have a frequency. That means that he scored a 3 times. This one means he scored a 4 35 times, and so on. So in order to find a mean, it says, what is Mr. England's mean score on a par 3 hole? If we were to find a mean, that means add them all up and divide by how many there are. So if I was to do that, this right here, scoring a 3 times, that means we would have to go 3 plus 3 plus 3, and then we would add that to a 4, which came up 35 times. So we would have to go plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, and we would have to do that 35 times. Something of that nature. And then, of course, the next one we'd have to do plus 5, but that came up 23 times. So we would have to do that 23 times. Well, the idea of a weighted mean is that this multiple here tells us how many times it came up. So rather than doing 3 plus 3 plus 3, we just do this. He shot a 3 times. And he shot a 4 35 times. So rather than have to put in the individual data values, we could just go ahead and put in the data value plus its weight, and its weight is how often it occurred. This one would be a 5, and it came up 23 times. So that's exactly how we're going to enter it into our calculator here. So I'm going to go, he shot a 3 times. Then I'm going to add that to a 4, and I want that 35 times. Add that to a 5, that's 23 times. Add that to a 6, that's 12 times. Add that to a 7, that's 9 times. Add that to an 8, that came up 6 times. And of course, add that to a 10, that came up 2 times. Then I could go ahead and hit enter, and I have 467. So when I go ahead and add all these up with their respective weights, that comes out to be 467. Then, of course, to find out the mean, we would have to divide that by how many times everything came up. Well, it came up 3 plus 35 plus 23 plus 12, and we could do that on here. 3 plus 35 plus 23 plus 12 plus 9 plus 6, and of course we would add that to 2, and there are 90 scores. It seems as though there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but this is the type of score. That's not how many. This is how many, and of course we just tally them up. So he takes 467 to divide that by 90. So we'll do that. 467 divide it by 90. And we come out with, and we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to round this to 2 decimals. It comes out to be approximately, his average score was approximately 5.19. And there we go.